Good afternoon. I'm James Miller, Superintendent at Jonathan Alder. The intention of this video is to provide information and opportunity to our students, families, community, staff, and all stakeholders. School officials have been hard at work communicating and collaborating with the many partners and associates who will be working along with our district as we plan for the future of Jonathan Alder. I've prepared this short informational video with visuals for viewers to learn about the process that we plan to take over the next several months as we work in collaboration to shape the future of your school district and our young pioneers. To stay involved, please visit elevatealder.com and look at the multiple teams being formed as we prepare and plan for the future. Please reach out to me if any of these committees or activities gauge your interest. Go Pioneers! During the 22-23 school year, the Strategic Planning Committee met to review the current state, condition, and need of each of our 5 school buildings. Throughout this process, the committee completed an assessment to determine operational capacities while using grade level and overall building enrollment. During the 22-23 school year, school board officials in the Village of Plain City administration partnered together and collaborated on plans for the future site of 340 West Main, the old Plain City Elementary building. Because of the formed relationship and partnership between the village and district, a shared vision in the near future is to create and develop a space for the district and community for everyone to enjoy. Last year, the school board went into contract and purchased the 19.5 acres at 161 and Butler, adjacent to the Darby Station MI housing development, for a future school site. And the school board approved the resolution to partner with the Ohio Facilities Construction Commission, OFCC. Becoming a segmented district with OFCC in 2003 has set our taxpayers up for huge savings for the second segment of our co-funded projects for future facilities. Steed Hammond and Paul, or SHP, the architects, designers, and engineer company hired by the school board, provides guidance to the district in order to make sound decisions throughout the process. We will go through a series of educational visioning exercises to determine how we want the teaching and learning to look at Jonathan Alder in the next 3, 5, and 10 years. SHP will point us in the direction to make sure we plan accordingly. Jonathan Alder has been working with the Ohio Facilities Construction Commission since 2003 on facility improvements. We are considered a segmented district with co-funded state and local shares locked in at 54% for the state and 46% local shares. Mr. Votal will be sharing the exciting news about Segment 2.
Our first segment in the construction process, we built Plain City Elementary, Monroe Elementary, Canaan Middle School, and of course, Jonathan Alder High School. The board and district administration locked in the state and local shares at 54% state, 46% local, and that is just so great for our community. If we were to go out and try to be segmented district today, our local share would be 70% and the state share would be 30%. So that is really good for our community. And we will continue to plan and develop strategies that best serve the district prior to completing the second and final segment with OFCC. We're going to create a series of teams to help walk us through this process. The first team will be the district steering team, which will be made up of a couple board members and central office leaders to really oversee the overall process. We will collect data and inform the community advisory team and the other teams of other issues that are going on. The second team will be a financial advisory team. It will review financial options and strategies, calculate financial implications from different decisions, and advise and review long-term operating costs. The third team will be an education visioning team, and the goal of that will be to build on the work that we've done to date and then to research what's happening in education. How do we prepare ourselves for the future and our kids for the future. This is a very exciting committee that will be made up of teachers, community members, and of course students too. And we're really looking forward to hearing their thoughts on what education might look like in the future for Jonathan Alder. But it's really important that we do that with our students, our teachers, and our community. The fourth team will be a community advisory team. And what they will do is oversee this process from a community standpoint. It'll have a number of community leaders, board members, teachers, etc. on it. And they really will oversee kind of the whole aspect as we begin to think about taking this to the voters for a bond campaign. The process will consist first of a facility insight assessment. Once we complete that, we will begin the educational visioning. That will take several months. Once we complete the educational visioning, we have to really test it. So we will be sharing it with different stakeholders throughout the community to make sure that vision is right for Jonathan Alder and right for our community. The last step will really be to take it to the community advisory team and get their blessing. So that they will review it and be able to make a recommendation to the board for approval. And that will be the master plan then, once the community advisory team reviews everything and submits it to the board. Once the board has it and approves it, we will be off and running.
Every time I drive past a new development, I swear 3 more houses go up. It's only natural for us to think that each of those houses is going to add a child or more to our schools. Because none of us at the district level study this for a living, since 2019, Alder has partnered with Cooperative Strategies to provide enrollment projections. They're specialists that look at historical data on our community as well as similar districts. They have the resources to not only be able to tell us how many students a 3-bedroom, single-family house or a 2-bedroom apartment will yield, but year by year, grade by grade, when and how many students to expect. The district has partnered with the Village of Plain City and Jerome Township to have the most advanced notice possible on what is coming our way. We've fed all of that information to Cooperative Strategies, and with everything we know today, we are currently on track to have the resources in place to be able to educate our current and expected students until we're ready to open additional classroom space or a new building. With all of that being said, toward the end of this school year, Cooperative Strategies and FutureThink, which is OFCC's projection specialists, will take one final look at all of our existing and new home inventory, as well as anything planned, and create a projection for every grade for the next 10 years. Those numbers will be the basis for the master planning process and will guide new construction or additions. Now that we have a better understanding of enrollment projections, I'd like to discuss the master planning timeline. Starting this January, we'll update our facility and site assessments so that we have the most up-to-date and current information on each of our buildings. The February Professional Development Day for our teachers will kick off the educational visioning that Steve spoke about and will continue through the end of the school year and into the summer. As educational visioning is really starting to take shape during the summer, SHP will begin the Vision Test Fit phase to see how our existing buildings and any new construction can support the learning that we're striving towards. As we move into fall, the financial advisory team will begin putting numbers together. How large of a bond would we need to accomplish the vision that's being formed? How much do we expect it will cost the average home or landowner? And would some kind of debt be an option? At the same time, the community advisory team will be meeting regularly amongst themselves as well as holding community forums. All of this will hopefully culminate with all of the teams agreeing on a master plan to submit to the Board of Education around January of 2025. Looking out over a much longer period, all of the time and energy that everyone will have contributed to this point is building and pushing towards a bond issue that we anticipate will be in front of voters on the May of 2025 ballot. That would see design work beginning the summer of 25 through the spring of 26, with construction happening the summer of 26. That should allow for the opening of a new building for the start of the 28-29 school year. This schedule is of course dependent upon the approved master plan, as additions and elementaries take the least amount of time to design and construct, with intermediate schools taking slightly longer and high schools being longer yet.
To stay involved, please visit elevatealder.com. Please look at the multiple teams being formed as we prepare and plan for the future. Go Pioneers!